Greetings everybody, welcome back to Game Time with Kyle. That is myself. Sorry for a little bit of a lengthy delay in between videos. I do try to do at least one a week on something or another, but in between some allergies and a little game called Grand Theft Auto 5 that came out last week at the time of this shooting, I've been a little preoccupied with some of those stuff, but we're back and we're doing a system overview on today's episode of Game Time. We have with us the mighty Sega Master System. We'll be taking a brief tour around the game console. We'll look at the controller and some gameplay for these two games, just a couple of my library. And let's see, Sega Master System itself, originally when it came out in Japan, it was called the Mark III. Came out in 1985. June of 86 here in North America, and it was rebranded as the Sega Master System in Japan, where it was released once again in October of 87 there. Anyone who has a Sega Game Gear, sort of the handheld Sega Game Gear, it's pretty much a handheld Sega Master System. So that's pretty neat. Did pretty well here in the U.S. Kind of sold 2 million, roughly 2 million here in the U.S., but really did well overseas. In Europe, it sold roughly 6.5 million and at least 5 million in Brazil. So it did pretty good worldwide, just not really big in Japan and not really big here in the U.S., but it did have a fierce competitor with the Nintendo Entertainment System. The most popular game for the Sega Master System, oddly enough, was Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I don't know. So next on Game Time, we'll be taking a look, like I said, just tour around the system and a couple minutes of gameplay from each of those games. And we'll do it next on Game Time. Alright everybody, here's the look at the Master System itself. As you can see, it's sort of laid out, not really quite sure what shape it is. It's sort of almost, if it was pointed here at the top, it would almost be more of a pyramid shape, but not quite. Let's take a look at the system itself. Here's the top. Here's where your cartridges will go. We'll take a look at the cartridges here in just a second. Here's the reset and pause button. Kind of like the Atari 7800, they did not have a pause button on the actual controller themselves. When you wanted to pause the game, you actually had to press it on the console itself. Fun little sort of light that shows when the power's on, cartridge, controllers, TV system, all that. Only this turns on though when the power's on. It's a nice little triangular green light. So here's the power button itself. Nothing too special there. Controllers 1 and 2, kind of like the old school Atari controller, sort of a 9-pin connector. And here's where, this is kind of interesting, this is for some flat game cards. I don't actually personally own any of those, but you can kind of take a flat card there, and some games would use that as well as the cartridges, or just the card itself. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to maybe getting a few of those in the near future as well. Here on the back, not a whole lot here, just got our connections there. There's the AV out cable, channel 3 or 4, kind of the switch there. RF switch out, and of course the AC adapter. Nothing on the sides except for maybe some vents there, nice little fun thing there. So that's the Master System itself. A little heavier, it's not necessarily lightweight, it's got some heft to it. Yeah, there's the RF switch it comes with. That's what it plugs into there. That goes into the back of your TV antenna if you have sort of an older TV. There's the adapter itself, kind of a beast. The Sega Genesis adapter was actually much bigger than that. I shouldn't say much bigger, but it was a little bit bigger than that. But that's that, and that goes in the back as well. And lastly, the controller. For fans of the NES, it needs no introduction. It's basically laid out like the NES, minus the start and select buttons. And we have 1 and 2. 1 kind of doubles as a start button there. And the control pad, actually kind of fun. It's not just one direction, it's sort of an 8-direction control pad. So it's pretty neat. I do like that. It's just a really, really small controller. Like for example, here's an Atari game, just because I have it sitting down there. Kind of some size comparison right there. Modern PlayStation controller. Another example, you can kind of tell a little bit of how it's like, something like that. So it's pretty small. The only thing I don't like about this one, not all controllers are like that. Some have a wire up here that goes out, but this controller happens to have a wire on the side. So when you're holding it, it's kind of weird. It's not a huge deal, but it kind of gets in the way. Sometimes I have to put my other finger and hold it like that just to kind of make it a little bit more comfortable. That's weird. I don't like that controller on the side by any means. The games themselves kind of cartridges. Anyone who had a Sega Genesis back in the day, I wish I did, but I have one now. Will recognize the boxes for these carts, kind of like the Sega Genesis. The games themselves for the Master System, I'm very fortunate this one's complete in box. The manual's a little rough, but that is okay. The cartridges themselves, again, I've got the Atari cartridge still here, so definitely a lot flatter, a lot more lightweight, just a little wider than like an Atari cartridge. So, but that would go in there like that. Push it down, and there you go, and that kind of completes the look there. That's why it's red. So it has a nice look, especially when the cartridge is in there. So, alright, how about we take a look? What did we put in? Outrun. Alright, let's take a look at some gameplay from Outrun. Maybe just 2 or so minutes, and we'll do some gameplay from Choplifter after that, and we'll call it good. Alright, let's do some Outrun for the Sega Master System. I'll turn up the volume here just a little bit. Now, well, that's going to show up on the audio. It's actually very quiet. Alright. We'll select our tune and give Kyle a little bit here. Okay. We'll hit the 2 to go. That is our break. Up and down to switch gears from high gear or low gear. And off we go. I think visually the Sega Master System is superior to the NES. I would say not a whole lot, but games definitely seem like they look and run a lot smoother on the Sega Master System than they... You know, I'm trying to picture this on the NES, and I don't think it would have looked quite as well. Sound quality, sound-wise, is probably just similar. It's similar as can be, I think. Outrun here kind of reminds me more than anything, reminds me most of pole position. Oh, I was in low gear all that time. I don't think we're going to quite make a checkpoint, but we'll see how we can do. All that time was low gear. It's probably good for turning around these corners. Oh, we spun out there. Pole position, we were just spontaneously combusted, I think. This is a great arcade game, though. I love playing this in the arcade. Sega also brought it not long ago to the PSP. They did like an Outrun 2006 edition. Oh, there was a fork in the road. You can actually choose which path you want to take when you hit the fork in the road. I forget exactly where this is going, but if we would have went, we took the right road. If we would have went left, it would have took us to a different area than this. Oh, just barely made that checkpoint. 1 second, I think. That was good. So I think there's just several different spaces you can, or places you can end up in, based on the directions that you go while in the game. You'll always start off at the same point. Fun game though. I would really love to see more versions of this. Like I've really become an Outrun fan. I like the music in the game. It's very sort of California type racing. It's very fun. Love the background music and visuals and everything. Definitely, if you are a fan of pole position and those types of games, especially the older school, highly worth checking out. Especially on the Sega Master System, because there really wasn't a whole lot of games released for the Master System as compared to like the NES, of course. And at the time, the Atari 7800. Not that there was a lot of 7800 games, but you could also do the back catalog of 2600 games, so that actually made for quite a big library. There's the 5 places you can end up, and you can see forks in the road all that time. Keeps track of your high score. Unless you take the cartridge out, then you lose all your high scores, so I guess it really doesn't matter, but we'll just do KYL. I think that's close enough to Kyle. And there we go. That was Outrun for the Sega Master System. Let's take a look at the game Choplifter, and we'll wrap things up after that. I do have to say one thing about the Sega Master System. Even all this time later, it came out in '86, it still loads the cartridges, if not on the first try, at least in the first try or 2 or 3. It's amazing how quickly it will load these games. Versus my NES, you always have to blow into the cartridges, and it never works on the first try. It takes dozens. But Master System, I gotta hand it to them. It's pretty long lasting. Alright, this is a fun little game. It kind of got a couple of revives, most notably recently on the PlayStation Network. Saw like an HD version of this Choplifter game. So, alright, give me just a second here. So we got the number 1 button to shoot, and we can shoot in different directions, and number 2 actually rotates us around. I don't think there's a time limit, so that is good, but there is other aircraft attacking us. So basically we got to shoot down some of these cannons here, and we basically want to rescue... Oh, I can't shoot them off camera. We basically want to bomb some of these hideouts here and rescue some hostages. Oh! I just got this game just recently. This is probably my 3rd time ever playing this game, so probably should practice a little bit more, but we'll get the hang of it here. Oh, careful there. Alright, so we got those cannons, so let's try shooting this a couple times here. That's good. And we gotta wait down here on the ground. It's kind of flickering a little. Oh, crap. He crashed. It was kind of flickering a little bit. It wasn't showing up well on camera. Let's try one last time here. Hopefully we can... Alright, all those cannons are taken care of. That's good. And here's our motley crew waiting for us. Oh, gotta watch out for that tank. Don't worry, guys. I'll come back for you. You can see in the upper right-hand corner what how many pedestrians or people we have. We'll just land on that. Wait for everyone to get out. Nice little score there, actually. After a very rough start. The last guy should wave us to us. Yep, there we go. Pretty decent little score there, actually, for a very rough start. Alright, we got a survivor here. Wow, it's so hard to land those things without taking a nosedive. But that's alright, that's about 3 minutes of gameplay, which is usually as much as people want to sit through to begin with. So, that is Choplifter once again for the Sega Master System. It came out for, actually, several different consoles back in the day, and again, I know on the PlayStation Network, they get a revival not too long ago with Choplifter HD. Pretty sure the Xbox Live saw a version of that as well. You see some of these later levels, man, they're going to be really challenging. So that is the Sega Master System. I think visually and audio-wise, and definitely as far as longevity, those cartridges just loaded up right away, even after a long time of not using them. I have to say it's probably superior to the NES. But again, I think the NES just had a broader appeal. NES had just 100 great games, and definitely is a fond memory of many late 80s, or if you're like me, more early 90s childhoods. So, great system, and Sega Master System, I think, at least deserves to not be forgotten. Definitely started a great run for Sega. It would follow this console up with the Sega Genesis. And of course, Sonic the Hedgehog and all those great Genesis games. Streets of Rage, personal favorite. That does it for Game Time with Kyle. Why don't you leave a comment on your favorite Sega Master System game? I'm looking for some great recommendations. I only have 6 at the time of this shooting this video. I only have 6 games. Looking forward to some more. Always welcome suggestions. And until then, everybody, live long and prosper. And thank you so much for watching.